Yeah. So the music for this film was one of my favorite parts about the entire process of making this movie.
It really cut because that's something about it.
Yeah. It was like actually like one of the earlier parts of just like writing the script was based around that song that sort of comes into play a few times.
Yeah.
Like I had I wanted to make sure I had that song, so like one of the first things I did in like the writing process was like reach out to that band and try to get the rights to that song, and that took several months, and then it was several bands that I had known personally, or also my brother Joey here actually helped me connect with a few other artists, including Paranoid Larry, who is back here in the audience. He contributed one of the best songs, "Breakfast is the Most Important Beer of the Day," and then he, I didn't even actually ask him to do this, but he just wrote an original song called "Lifeguarding" for the movie, so that ended up in there. So it was a combination of mostly artists that I had some sort of personal connection to, and then a few artists that I reached out to on like Instagram and got their music through that.
Gotcha. So your like main strategy was just to reach out to the artist directly for the most part.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then I guess the second thing was the location, because see most of the film is taking place at the pool. What was it like getting like the ability to use that pretty consistently? That was
really a stroke of luck, and another thing that I did really early, like basically when I consider we went into pre-production was when I first emailed the country club, and it was one that my parents have belonged to for many years, so like we know them very well, and I basically asked like, would you guys be possibly open to me like filming scenes there, and they said okay, pretty quickly. So basically how it worked was at the end of last summer, once school had started back up, the pool was basically empty during the day, so we were able to just go in there and get our scenes filmed, and then they kept the pool full for like one more week after Labor Day, and we got it all taken care of.
Gotcha. And something I noticed about this one is that there are a lot of scenes and montages that just really convey this sense of fun and camaraderie and just a real friendship among the cast. Was that something you guys were working on set? Did you have like a lot of days just dedicated to the cast all hanging out, or did everyone just sort of have this chemistry together like right from the jump?
I actually, like, in my dream vision of making this movie, I had thought about that process. Like, an idea that I, wanted to do was actually, have, a weekend where everyone hangs out together except the actor playing Mike, so that you feel a little bit more left out on set. That never ended up happening. So, I mean, just luckily, everyone they just became friends really quickly on set within a few days of working with each other and knowing each other. So like the chemistry was instantly there. I mean the two guys, Winston and McHenry, their characters, it's Mark and Jack are their names. You would have thought that they've been best friends for years, just watching them talk to each other on set, but they had only just met each other.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then. So I guess I wanted to talk about some of those character pairings that you do. Yeah, I'm really terrible with names.
Oh, good.
But there's that liberal girl.
Yes,
and more
conservative,
more conservative pro-America guy, and then there was the girl who seemed like she worked primarily on the golf course, and then Tori himself. Were those written into the script, or?
Yeah. So definitely one of the things that I noticed from my time as a lifeguard is there would often be times where political debates would just kind of come up, and then looking back on it, I was like, they're just high school kids, they don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I kind of always thought that was a funny aspect. So I wanted there to be a super liberal person, a very conservative person, just kind of stuck together and debating topics all day long. And possibly in love with each other. We'll see.
It definitely took me back to a lot of the stuff I got into up to in high school, definitely even early college. But now that I'm a couple of years out of college, I was really relating to Tori, I believe is his name, the head lifeguard.
Norb. Yes.
Yeah, the head lifeguard, and just you know, you hit this phase in your life where people, like you said, people aren't saying, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? People are asking, hey, what happened? What are you doing? And I just wanted to ask a bit about how that subplot developed because, like, compared relative to the love story, it's like a lot more, I think, you know, real world, and a bit of a bummer, honestly.
Yes, it is. That sort of developed, and I think probably became the most real and probably the biggest part of the story is because that's sort of the life that I'm living right now.
Yeah.
When I first started working on the script, I thought I was the Mike character. I was like, you know, the new kid joining the group, but then in working on it in the recent years, I'm much more closer to the Norb character of like, you know, you're approaching your 30s and you're like you haven't really figured it out yet, and you know, you're kind of missing those high school glory days in a way.
You know, I've definitely met a lot of people who are in a similar position. You know, I'm fairly young, but there's definitely, you know, that the parents on your back that definitely make it feel a lot closer. I guess I just wanted to ask you, like, how did that romance between Mike and Emma's character develop? Like, what was your approach to, like, character intimacy and, you know, like, training and stuff like that?
Good question, and something that, like, I'm always trying to be better at as a filmmaker. It was, you know, sort of to the benefit of the story. It was supposed to be like a little bit awkward at times, so like it kind of worked out. If the actors were a little bit awkward, but as far as, you know, we just would rehearse and make sure everyone was feeling comfortable and you know, use the best takes.
Gotcha. And then, obviously, I think the big thing about this film, it is so freaking funny. I mean, I was sitting back there to hear everyone out here laughing. I myself was chuckling all the way in there. And I think a lot of, like, newer filmmakers get really, really, like, they get in their own head about the jokes. And I was just wondering, you know, when you're sitting down to write them, are you, like, pitching them to friends? Are you, like, if it makes you chuckle once, then it's probably good? Like, what was your process for, like, vetting a good joke?
Great question. Definitely a lot of having other people just read the script in full. I think I actually sent it to my buddy Alex at one point, like probably years ago at this point, and Joey read it a few times. So just kind of sending people versions and versions, and it's a little bit just trusting your own instincts that, like, you know, if I think it's funny, like, I'm gonna try to make it work. And there were some jokes that you know, people were really arguing with me on, and I really fought for them. Some that I ended up getting rid of, and for the most part, I'm happy with all of them in there. There's a few that I, you know, minor things I might do a little differently if I was to do it all again. But for the most part, you just gotta, you know, trust your own instincts.
And then I just wanted to ask, for anyone who may have missed it at this screening, where are you going to be screening next?
So this was sort of one of the finale. It was because it's such a summery film. I really tried to get as many screenings set up over the past summer months. So we're gonna really start looking into like an online distribution in some regard. So I would definitely follow our Instagram at _Lifeguards_movie to you know, keep in touch with us.
Okay, and then Johnny, just lastly, do you have any projects that you're working on down the road, or anything you can look forward to in the future?
Yes. So I have a short film that I'm trying to get filmed this winter, hopefully. That is on the complete other side of things. It's very sad and dramatic, not fun, but I need to make it. You know, one for me and one for them. You know how it goes.
Yeah,
they're all for me. And then back in the early writing stages of another feature-length rom-com. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for chatting.
Yeah.
Now comes the part